Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Proventure Podcast. I'm Giancarlo and Anthony, joined with my partner Anthony Loggia. And today, guys, we're super excited to announce that we have finally launched our online academy. We recently released the Venture Academy, and essentially it's part of our real estate program where we've combined years of our experience and skill into one focused program designed specifically for those looking to become real estate investors. So Anthony, say hello to the people.
Hey guys, like Giancarlo reiterated, we're super excited to finally get this launched. It took us 12 months of hands-on working on this. I don't know how many hours a week.
Yeah.
Plus another 2-3 years of working on it in our heads.
Thinking about it.
Yeah. So I've been in real estate for just over 5 years. Giancarlo, you've been at this a lot longer than me. How'd you even get started in this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been at this since we're 2025 now. I got into real estate in 2015 and
10 years.
10 years. Yeah. Yeah. Way to feel old. But it's been about 10 years I've been in this. And for me, honestly, I knew as soon as I got into it, this is what I wanted to do. One way or another, from the beginning, I've always wanted to be involved in real estate. So,
and what were we doing before?
I mean, I didn't really follow traditional academic paths. I'm a high school dropout. And fortunately, at one point in life, I found myself at a crossroads. We all go through that phase. We're confused. We don't know who we are and what we want to become. And, I wasn't on a good path at all, But when I found real estate, for me, I think it was being a high school dropout. It was probably the best choice I could have made for my life. It was on par with being a doctor or a lawyer. And I went all in, didn't look back since, and that was 10 years ago. So
it's incredible when you find something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And that you just love doing, and it just changes your whole life.
What about you? How did you get into real estate?
I got into real estate for fun, really. So I was working at the bank and I was quite content at my job, actually, but I wanted to purchase property for myself. And I said, who's better to do it than me?
Yeah.
I didn't really trust other brokers. I wasn't really aware of their influence and what they were capable of. So I decided, let me go to real estate school. And that's actually where I met you.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
Yeah, you kind of convinced me to team up. You were a really essential mentor to me because you were already at it for several years. And, what we speak about constantly in the academy is mentorship.
Yeah.
Being surrounded by the right people. And early on, I was.
I mean, I think that, the whole inspiration behind this is to design a program so you don't need to make the same mistakes that I made early on in my career, right? And that's when we started working together. It was essentially what I had said to you. It was like, I'll save you.
Yes, all the mistakes.
Yeah, that I made.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Time and money.
We're a big believer in that because we're a big believer that if you make mistakes, it's okay to make mistakes. The reality is we call these mistakes the tuitions of life. Sometimes it costs you money to learn these costly mistakes, but why have to pay it if you're surrounded by people who know better?
Yeah, and this is where mentorship comes in. And we were really, like you had mentioned earlier, we were talking about potentially putting together a program for a couple of years before we actually started putting the program together. And even when we started putting the program together, we really wanted to fine tune it and make sure that we had everything. All our I's dotted and our T's crossed, before we released the program. And it's been a way. We look at how far we've come in the last, several years, but it's finally here. And it's finally ready for you to witness, experience, and learn.
So, Giancarlo, maybe you could tell people why we decided to start this program and the people we've worked with in the past and what really brought us to this point.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very honest because I'm good at being brutally honest, But I never really believed in mentorship or coaching or programs of anything. I never believed in it. Until I went to a real estate conference where I met some people that I had been following on social media for some time, and I got to meet them in real life. And I joined their mentorship community. I joined their community, and that for me was life-changing. And I think that had I not joined, I probably would have maintained that stubbornness towards mentorship and everything. But the minute that I joined, I realized that this was definitely something of value. I didn't look back on my decision, and And this is how we decided to come here and design our own program, right? So
Yeah. And who could be an investor?
anybody. If I'm an investor with no high school education, diploma, high school dropout, anybody could be a real estate investor. Because the reality is, being a real estate investor doesn't really require having a high school diploma. It requires grit, determination, and vision.
Absolutely. So how has real estate investing improved your life? Because we know that, yeah, sure, you work in real estate and we've helped people already invest, but we've also done it for ourselves. How has it helped you?
I mean, for me, just because real estate becomes such a strong passion, it really helped improve my life in terms of, if you love what you do, you're never going to work a day in your life. And I love real estate because every day is different. And for those that know me, know that I am a man that gets very, very bored of routine and repetitive tasks. And this is why real estate is fantastic for me, because the routine is never the same. The tasks are never repetitive. And there's always something different in a day-to-day basis, right? So it allowed me to really explore my skill set, and fine-tune and polish it. So,
And I think really, when we talk about investing and we talk about planning for the future, real estate is something that can give you that financial future for your future, not only for yourself though, but also for your family. It's going to give you that ability to create cash flow long after you've quit your 9-to-5 job, or maybe even doing real estate full-time.
Yeah.
Right? And that's something that's so critical, especially to someone like myself with a finance background. I'm always thinking about ways to, in a sense, earn when I'm not doing anything. And this is just a great avenue for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we should tell the people why we thought we were qualified to put together a program. I think that's a huge thing to talk about, because we are super qualified to put together a program. And let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, well, look, I think we should start off by the fact that we've worked with real estate coaches already.
Yeah.
And we've helped their clients tremendously. And even in those interactions, it started to make us think that, well, we could do this and more. Why aren't we doing it?
Yeah. And I think there was a moment in time in those 2 years where we were thinking about it, where we realized, we are qualified. Having been in real estate for 10 years, starting off my career as a real estate broker before ultimately opening my property management company and managing a large portfolio of assets, we realized that, hey, we are qualified. And this is what we're offering to our community, is a system, a curriculum based on hands-on experience, right? Because we did experience it firsthand. Everything that we teach, we've done.
Exactly.
Have we taught someone else to do, a client, we've worked with clients who've done it. And so this is how we designed this whole thing.
Yeah. And my background in sales, finance, and negotiations has definitely come a long way, because when I'm looking at a property, I'm not looking at something that's really gets me emotionally attached. I'm looking at numbers. I'm looking at the building. I'm looking at the state of the building. I'm saying, hey, can we make money in this? Whether it's now or in 5 years or in 10 years, what's our exit strategy? I'm already thinking about these things, and that's something that we transmit to our people.
Yeah.
Right? So for those students that are going to take the leap forward, they're going to join us in our academy, in our community, join our Discord chat. What should we see? Like, what should they expect from all this?
Well, I think they need to know a little bit about what this program entails, right? So let's tell them a little bit about that, and then they'll ultimately know what to expect. So when we put this together, we really had an idea of making it, separating it into 3 tiers, like I like to call it, right? Education, preparation, implementation, right? So, I mean, the first tier would definitely be our video curriculum, where they have hundreds of videos that they could watch and learn firsthand strategies, systems. And we've actually brought in some professionals and experts, in that curriculum too, to help educate them.
Because we're really big believers in spreading the wealth.
Yeah.
Like, if we work with them, that means these are people we trust, and we want them to be a part of this mentorship and a part of this community that we're trying to build. Now, like Giancarlo said, the first part, our videos, it's going to range from extremely introduction to what is a single family home, what is a condo, but that's essential. You need to know the basics of real estate before you start the more advanced parts of the game. And maybe you could reiterate on the second part of our program.
Well, the second part really, the way we've designed this program is, again, back to the education, preparation, implementation. So education being the first part with the video curriculum, and then the second part being the preparation phase, where really our community members can join a forum with other real estate investors within the community, and they'll have access to our weekly live webinars where we'll be talking about different subjects every week, and really, which is essentially a part of our curriculum. We'll be talking about different parts of the real estate journey.
And not only that, we're going to be answering your questions.
Yeah, live.
Right? We want to be there for you guys. We want to be a part of the journey because we're confident that what we've done for others, we could do for you.
Yeah, and we know we can do it.
Absolutely.
Because we've done it for so many others, and we've done it for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So we know that this works because, again, our systems, our curriculums are crafted by hands-on strategies, right? Things that we've applied. We still apply.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
We still apply, and we're constantly learning. So you constantly know that there's going to be more and more updated educative information, right?
And what about the last part?
Well, the last part is when they have internal access to our database as well as a direct forum Discord chat with not only us, but everybody else that works within our community. So our inspector, Kevin, that was on the show recently. We have Adriano Bono, who is our mortgage collaborator, and other real estate professionals and experts, essentially, that will help you execute on your deal.
And make a more informed decision when you're at that crossroad. Should I invest or should I not? We're going to be there and we're going to have your back throughout. So as much as the videos are really great and they're informative, they're all that stuff for sure, the real value is being a part of the community.
Yeah.
And that's really our goal in all of this, is building that real estate community here in Canada so that we could build and achieve financial freedom.
Yeah, and like you said before, spread the wealth, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we get a lot of satisfaction by offering value and helping change people's lives, right? That is probably one of the most rewarding part about starting our career as real estate brokers, is helping people achieve their dreams.
Especially when they come back.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, let's do this again. Like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
What's happening to me, what's happening to my family, like the extra money we're making, it's the best feeling in the world. And there are certain advantages, obviously, to investing in real estate versus, we'll say, putting your money in the stock market. And that's something that we're going to be diving into as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And our goal here really is to help shape your futures, right? Just like I once had a dream and had a vision, being a high school dropout, and I made it happen. There might be people out there who don't think it's possible. Some people might think that it's far beyond reach. But the reality, guys, is that nothing is beyond reach. If you want it bad enough, it's already happened. You just need to do the work and apply yourself. Yeah. And it's about small, actionable steps that lead to the bigger picture, right? That's why there's things called long-term goals, short-term. Our short-term goals lead to the long-term.
And we talk about that a lot.
Right.
Right? Because at the end of the day, your attitude is going to dictate how you're going to take things further.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like I've always been someone who was open to education and constructive criticism. I've always knew my place when I had less experience in a situation, and I essentially wanted to learn from more experienced professionals in my field. Unfortunately, I didn't always have the best experience with this because a lot of people will take advantage of the fact that you're green in the business, and which is essentially why I started working with people, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
At the beginning when we were collaborating, I was telling you all the time, like I've worked with some pretty nasty people, pretty nasty people that wanted to overwork and underpay and just really not provide any value, which is not essentially what mentorship should be.
And I think you're touching up on a really important question of why is mentorship important, especially in real estate, right? Like there's how many thousands of real estate brokers just in Quebec, and then we're going to look at Canada in general. And then if you want to expand to the US, there's a ton of us. So why is mentorship particularly that important? Well, I can tell you personally how it's improved my life. I joined Giancarlo, what was it, 5 years ago? 7 years ago?
7.
And it's completely changed my life for the good, right? I have properties now. We have a team, right?
A curriculum.
Program. So, guys, the reality is, just like anything in life, in order to understand if you could really achieve it, if you could be successful in it, the best thing to do is to learn from professionals.
Yeah.
And that's what we're offering here.
I mean, the way I would explain it is, if you're going to learn, you want to learn by someone who's done it thousands of times, right? You don't really want to learn by someone who's done it 3, 4 times, 5 times, because how extensive is their experience? You know what I mean? So the best way to learn is by learning from someone who's been in the field, has the hands-on experience, years and years of experience. Yeah,
Definitely.
What else can you tell the listeners about us, who we are, how Proventure came about? Talk to them.
I think it came out of a place of uncomfort and kind of lack of satisfaction. We're working with these students. We're working with these buyers who essentially don't know anything really about the market. And we're in positions where we know how to help you. We know how to cater to you. And at a certain point, you could only reach so many people. Information to us that should be widespread is not. And that's also why we do this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, we're giving away free information. We're giving away our network. Yeah. We don't care. Like, our goal is to create a real estate community where we could all help each other out.
Yeah. Yeah. There is no competition, right? It's all about collaboration, right? And I think that a lot of people in business forget that.
Yeah.
Because, I've said it before, you make money together, right? And you make success and you achieve results together. There's no I in team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you go fast alone, you go far together.
Yeah. That's a great one.
Right?
That's a great saying, actually.
And also, the last few years, we've been experiencing high inflation.
Yeah.
Right? You have money in the bank.
Yeah.
It's going to waste. You're getting killed. Especially now we're dealing with these US CAD conversion. We're getting killed. The only hedge against high inflation is precious minerals, gold, silver, and it's real estate. In a high inflationary environment, you want to be holding real estate. Financial experts, what do they say all the time? Diversify.
Yeah.
Diversify. Well, this is what you're doing. You're diversifying. Sure, you have money in stocks. Sure, you have some maybe in bonds. But real estate is also that important classification. When in times of high inflation, you're protected.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to coaching in real estate, I think that more people should open their minds to it. Like, I was very closed off to it at one point, very closed off to it until I went to a real estate conference and I found super motivated. And I didn't really join a community after the conference. It took me maybe about a year to join the community after, but I kept following them and I kept listening and I kept listening. And I think that when it comes to real estate coaching, people have this sort of perception to it that they need to change because, unlike, for example, fitness, okay, you could Google and you could YouTube how to get in shape and probably, YouTube a ton of home workouts that you could follow, right? But when it comes to real estate, where you're dealing with properties and millions of dollars, you don't want to really rely on YouTube.
And you know what? I think the part we're often missing is that personal touch.
Yeah.
Right? Because these transactions could be super stressful. And if you're doing them alone or you're doing them with someone who doesn't know what they're doing, you could put yourself in a terrible position financially, especially because this is the biggest investment you're going to make.
I mean, guys, would you trust someone who did a YouTube video about real estate investing, or would you trust working with someone who successfully completed hundreds of real estate transactions, right? I know who I would trust in this scenario. And again, for someone like me who was very close-minded to the whole coaching community, I just want to say I'm part of 4 coaching programs. So not only one, but 4 coaching programs, so I love that's how much my mind changed on the subject.
Yeah. Well, I always thought it was going to be, something, like joining you 7 years ago, right? It's always been an integral part of the way I've done business and the way I've thought about things. So I have a lot of family in real estate. They invest tremendously. And even with them, right? The amount of information they're willing to tell me is always enormous. That's why even having these communities and being surrounded by these people is so important. It's shocking how much information they're willing to give and to help. Like, we're all in this together. And that's really my message. And that's always what I try to tell people about Proventure. What is it about? What is it about? Yes, it's a coach, it's a mentorship program, it's an academy, but we want to bring people together.
And provide value.
And provide value.
You change your life. Right? Because 10 years ago, when I was, finding my way at a crossroads, when I didn't know anything and I had very little hope of my future because of my lack of academic knowledge, I had to really find a way and find my own footing. and it was hard because a lot of people were not offering the help I wish I would have had, which is essentially why I enjoy helping people today with their program.
But do you think that helped you? The lack of help that you received early on, did that maybe push you, propel you forward? Because there's always that sense where if you have some struggle, right, that's what you really need to get the fire started.
Definitely character development, definitely character development. I do think that helped me in the sense of, it gave me tough skin and everything. But in hindsight, if I had someone help me from the very beginning,
absolutely,
I would have saved time and money and mistakes. And guys, one of the best educations is mistakes that cost you money. Because believe me, if it costs you money, you're never going to do that again. But if I had a mentor when I first got into real estate, as a broker even, it would have saved me time and it would have saved me money. As in fact, when I did get into real estate, I tried to do this alone for the first 2 years of my career, first year and a half of my career, before I started working under a wing of a then seasoned broker with 10 years experience. Shout out Christina if you're listening. And, after I got over that stubbornness because I wanted to do it alone, because I was so used to being independent and no one helping me throughout my life, whatever it was, I wanted to do it alone.
It became a habit.
It became a habit, but it held me back a little bit, right? Because I was learning as I went, and unfortunately, I didn't know where to start, right? Because that's what back then the academy school didn't teach us, right? And when I started working with a mentor after a year and a half of trying it my way, and I finally decided, okay, my way's not working, let me work under someone. It changed. That year was astronomical. That year was huge for me.
Oh, yeah, in terms of learning and in terms of, what's happening in your pockets, right?
And results, tenfold. Yeah.
Of course. Maybe we could talk a bit about your property management company.
Yeah.
And how you started that and where it's at right now.
Yeah. So when I started doing property management, essentially it was an add-on to my real estate brokerage business. A lot of people were buying properties with me and they were investors looking to buy rental properties.
Yeah, because that was always our bread and butter, right?
Investors. We never really worked with, the typical homeowners and stuff like that. We always worked with people looking to build their real estate portfolios. And I kept getting calls about questions. How do I pre-screen a tenant? How do I rent? How do I do credit checks?
How do I kick out a tenant?
What
do I tell them that is
difficult? Yeah, in Quebec, extremely difficult, guys, which is why you need a coach if you're going to look to buy real estate, because you need to know the intricacies of this thing, right? So, and I saw the demand for property management and I decided to start my own business. At first, it became a little side business to complement, my real estate sales. And then it grew bigger and bigger and bigger until at one point we managed $25 million of assets ranging from multifamily properties to condo developments. And we went from 3 doors to over 300 doors in less than a couple of years.
Amazing. So, and what do you see the future of that, the property management?
I think property management's always going to be a part of me. I think it's definitely going to be a part of my business. I mean, because one thing that people tend to overlook when it comes to real estate investing is property management. It's funny because I was speaking at a seminar a few weeks ago and, I was speaking about purchasing real estate, but one of the things that I mentioned in my speech was property management is a huge part of purchasing real estate that people don't understand and don't think of at first.
Yes.
And then they purchase property, and whether it's a duplex or, a 5-plex, they purchase a property and then they realize, oh, wait, now I got to manage it.
Yep.
So it's always going to be that property management. I'm grateful for the experience. Although I will say, guys, it's not easy.
No,
it's not easy.
So now that you're making this transition from, real estate broker, property manager, real estate investor to coach, what's going to be the biggest change in you?
Nothing's going to change. I'm going to still do what I love, and I'm still going to help people build their financial futures to real estate, right? Ultimately, I was teaching. I was always teaching from the beginning. I was teaching clients how to purchase property. I was teaching clients how to rent property, teaching people how to become a real estate broker. And now I want to teach you guys how you could become a real estate investor.
You're like a one-stop shop.
So guys, if you want more information on this, feel free to reach out to us. Send in your questions. We'll gladly answer to them.
Absolutely. And guys, if you haven't already, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. And we're going to look forward to you guys to the next time. Ending.
Highlights?
Okay.
What highlights?
Okay.
This video, gonna use one more.
Okay. But the ending, can you crop the ending? It wasn't good.
Yeah. The highlights, I'll skip the highlights.
Okay.
For
Okay. Get back.
highlights, perfect, and that's it.
Okay.
Probably.
So, Giancarlo, what's something that the people could expect from the program? What's something that they could... No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's something that people could expect from the program? What's a high level, basically, of what they're going to be getting?
I think people could expect to have everything that they need when it comes to real estate investing all in one place. So when we designed this program, right, what do we design it with? We designed it with our firsthand experience. And what's part of that experience? Our knowledge, right? The 10 years that we have behind us, materials that we use, right? So they're going to be able to get access to the videos, the education, access to our database and the professionals that we work with, as well as one-on-one direct access to us. And they're also going to get the materials, all the contracts, all the leases, all the notices, everything, really.
That's awesome. And also, which is something that we can't forget, access to our community, where you're going to be able to be linked with like-minded individuals, and we're all going to help each other succeed.
And if there's one thing I know about being part of a community, it's interesting, is that collaboration is key. Everybody collaborates, and it's great within the communities that I'm part of, which is 4, by the way, from not being part of 1 to being part of 4, just seeing people collaborate. And I connect with people all across North America, all across Canada, and that collaboration becomes key. People reach out to me, I reach out to them. Just the other day, actually, someone within the community from Alberta reached out to me to talk about property management. She was interested in starting a business, and she reached out to me. And, having had a property management business for almost 7 years now, I was able to help her craft her property management plan. And she was actually, quite relieved after we spoke, because there was a lot of points that she had not thought of when it came to crafting her business. So collaboration is huge, and you never know who you're going to meet, and you never know what you're going to learn.
Forget. So,
Giancarlo, where can people join the venture?
Guys, DM us on Instagram, and we will send you the link to the program details and the course, and we'll let you know exactly everything you'd like to know about the program. Until next time, guys, thank you for listening to another episode of the Property Venture Podcast, and we look forward to collaborating with you.
Ciao, guys. See you next time.